Hello and welcome to our next tutorial. This is a graphical user interface. In this tutorial, we will cover graphical user interface, different libraries, and what are the third-party libraries, widgets, what is the event-driven programming, and Tkinter Module. So, what is actually graphical interface or graphical user interface? Is sometimes called a GUI. In our previous lectures, we have worked with only the console application, just only the black screen. But now, in this tutorial, we will work on some kind of like I have opened a calculator, and we will work on this kind of screen now. This will, when we do enter I have 4, now I want to add 2 more in it, so it becomes a 6. So at the back end, all the things are working in programming, but over here, as a layman or as a end user, we don't care about what actually backend is written in it, but we are most interested in the graphical user interface, because in the background or in the console, we are not sure what actually this does mean, and but this over here, as a layman, they can easily understand that what actually this samples mean, like a 1 2 3 and MC and like other stuff. So this is a graphical user interface. So different libraries. Python provides us some built-in libraries. Also, it allows us to integrate a third-party libraries, but Python provides us a few libraries. The first one is a Tkinter. This is a built-in interface in the Python, and PyQT. This is also a built-in interface in the Python. There is a bit difference between both the Tkinter and PyQT. We are not here to make the difference between them. And wxPython, this is a third-party library. There are a lot of third-party libraries, but I have added only one, the wxPython, so that we can discuss that what actually the third-party libraries are. So another topic is, what are the third-party libraries? The third-party libraries are that library that provide the different person or different company, or in simple someone else, but these are not officially added in the existing the ID, or in an existing programming, we can say that. And the another thing is the widgets. What are the actually widgets? Widgets are, we have buttons, and we have labels, and we have a radio buttons. So all these things called widgets. So there are a lot of widgets in the Python, but I'm going to explore the some, like a button, canvas, check button, entry, frame, label, list box, menu button, message, radio, and much more, like a text center, tool, top level, blah blah blah. So over here, we are going to discuss something, what is event-driven programming. This is the next topic. What is actually event-driven programming is? The event-driven programming is that, let's say I'm going to open a calculator. In event-driven programming, when we do 3, there is something happen inside the in the backend, in simple, that generate a message that's called, it actually give the notification in the backend in the code. So that is called event, that event fire. And this is a producer is that who's creating this one, the producer, like we can say the sender. For sometimes we call it the sender. So this is like over here, actually these are all our buttons. So when we do click this, there's something happen in the back end that is called event. But who's did this? Like 3, the 3 is somewhere, maybe the button in the calculator, and I'm sure these are all the button, but the button is a producer who produce this notification. And then the another concept is a consumer. The consumer means that the code or the piece of code who is accepting this particular notification from the sender. And then the message means definitely what actually we are sending, we are delivering to the consumer. So there is a bit tricky about what actually the event procedure and producer, consumer, and message, but this is the basic concept about that. And the next is a Tkinter module. In our through the tutorial, we will work on the Tkinter. As I said, this is a interface provided by Python. So we will work on this one. This is a very simple. I have created a one file. So first of all, to use the Tkinter, we have to import actually a library for that, and it's called Tkinter. Here it is. And how we use that, there's a different way. Like we can add it directly, or we can make a separated classes for everything, as we already have discussed what actually classes are in our previous lecture in the object-oriented programming. So it's better for us to implement or to show all the things in a object oriented way, like in a class. So I'm going to create a class and naming it, suppose I'm going to just show the button. So I'm calling it button GUI. This is my class name, or we can make it underscore GUI. And as I said, when we do class generate a class, or we create a class, we have to make it a def. This is init. So what actually the init initialize meaning is that you have to watch my previous video. All the things are covered in the previous one. So this always take the self meaning that when we are working inside this scope of this particular class, we use the self. And now the things for the Tkinter for the GUI is starting from here. We have to make a variable, private variable for inside the class. It can be global actually, but it depends totally on you. I'm making it self dot. I'm saying that my Tkinter. Let's say my Tkinter, and I'm initializing with the Tkinter. This is actually the Tkinter keyword. This is actually the object. We can say that the library name, or we can make it a alias for that. But I'm using as it is Tkinter dot tk. This is the class for the Tkinter. You can check over here. You can see that when I hover on the TK, it's showing that top level widgets of TK, which represent mostly the main window of an application. It has associated TCL interpreter. You can explore all the things about all the stuff to Google. So now this is the basic concept. Now I want to display, or I want to show the thing. For that I'm going to display one thing that is called the main loop. We can say that I want to make it all the code inside this particular code, inside this particular frame. So we will use that the Tkinter same like dot main loop. This is the basic syntax for creating a class. Let's say I'm using over here. Let's say GUI is equal to this one. Very simple. And when I run this code, you can see that here it is our GUI is. But right now I did not add any kind of stuff over here, not a label, not a button, not an entry box, nothing. I just initialize this stuff, the main syntax for that, and I use that class at the bottom of the this class, and our GUI is up over here. You can see that. Now I want to change the first this label. It's called a title. So how we can do that? I can say that self dot my Tkinter dot title. Here is the word for that title. I want to share that suppose button form, and now you can see that now the title is changed, button form. We can add multiple option here, like a Tkinter dot width or height, whatever you want to use. Like this, it has a lot of option, bind, call, blah blah, all this stuff, but we are not exploring everything. And this is about the basic concept. Now I'm going to add a button inside this. How we can do that? After the Tkinter and before the main loop, here would be our main code. I'm making it all code. Let's say I'm going to add a button inside this GUI. So how we can do that? Very simple. We have to make, as we are using a class, I'm just making a self dot button. You can name it anything, like you can name it button1 btn or whatever. Let me actually use it btn destroy for this. And here I'm going to creating a button for that to retrieve the widget and process all the stuff. The very simple, we will use this thing, right? Tkinter dot button. Here it is the button. So in the button constructor, I'm just making like this. It is taking a lot of parameter. The master is that on which screen, on which Tkinter module you want to show this particular button. So I want to use this in a my Tkinter. This would be our master, self.master, right? And another thing is that I want to make it a text. What actually the text we want to show on to the button. Let's say I'm saying that kill me or close me. Let's say I'm making it close and run. Now you can see that button is added, but it is not showing. It is added. We don't know where it actually is added. So for that we have to pack this button. So for that, very simple, we can say that self dot button. Actually, let me just indent more. Or let me actually come over here. Self dot btn destroy dot pack, where we want to pack this one. I want to pack this at the side. I want to pack this side where actually these are the different options. Pack where we want to pack this one. I want to pack it to maybe left or maybe right, whatever you want to use, or maybe center, top, whatever you want to use. I'm just making it left. Now I'm running the code again. Now you can see that our button is showing over here. Here is our button. I'm making a screen just bigger. Here is our button. Here is our button. So this is about the widget. We have added a one widget called close, right? So we want over here, I want to just to show you what actually this one is, event-driven programming. So when I do click on this button, there's something happened in the backend. But right now we do not add any kind of logic for that. So we are not sure what actually is working at the behind. So let's add some event. For that, very simple. I'm going to declare first. Let me actually add a method first. Def. We can use anything, like we can say the def show message or the print message, totally up to you. We use the self, and I want to show that print this is button event, right? I have added this method, but I don't use anywhere this. So where we can use that? In the button property, when we come over here, you can see that it is taking a lot of things like the options, activate, and btm border, lot of stuff. And over here there is a cm command, actually button command. So we will use a command. Here it is the command, and it takes the what actually you want to use. It is called a callback function, so you can use anywhere. So, or call. I'm going to use a show message. That's it. Now let me run this. A match does not. Okay, there's something. What is happening here? Let me actually declare at the top. So it is doing something wrong. I think so. I have missed something. Correct. It is showing. It is showing me name. Yeah, we have actually, because we have added a method inside here, so we will use a self dot the method name. When I do run this again, I click here, you can see that this is the button event. Now the event is fired. Let me actually come over here again. This is button event. There is a lot of things in it. We can use a command, click, whatever you want to use. But this is our first tutorial about the GUI. In our next tutorial, we will discuss, maybe we will create a registered form, and we will get the value from the text box. That's in Python, that's called the entry widgets. We will get the value from the entry widget, and we will save that value into the databases. Maybe we will use NoSQL, and then we will get that the same value from the NoSQL, and to create a proper registration and login flow. And if you guys are new, please watch my previous video. I have discussed all this stuff like what actually the functions are, what actually the self meaning, the init function, what actually the object-oriented programming are. And thank you for watching.